welcome. Today we're going to be talking about modern manufacturing, specifically the role of IT automation. And today I have two of my Red Hat subject matter experts with me, Dave Rapini and Ed Hutchinson. Dave, if you could quickly introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Dave Rapini. I'm with Red Hat. My focus is on the industrial sector, so I'm responsible for the strategy in industrial space for Red Hat.
Hi, and I'm Ed Hutchinson. I work for the Red Hat Edge team, and I am also focused on the industrial sector.
All right, so let's jump right in. Ed, just to set up the context for today's discussion, can you share with us what role does IT automation play in the transformation efforts that are happening today?
Absolutely, Kendall. So IT automation, to define it, is really a process of being able to take manual, repeatable tasks and building in an automation routine that is able to accomplish that. One of the things that is big in the technical compute space is standardization and being able to perform an operation against a set of systems to enable and ensure that those systems are meeting requirements. It can be used for processes like patching. It can be used for processes like security context implementation. It's just a real way of being able to guarantee that anytime an operation runs against a set of systems, that it happens as it was intended to happen.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And I think consistency is the key to that discussion. Everybody talks about how automation, IT automation, can really improve the cost of the manual labor that you have people doing. But where I find I've done a lot of startups and a lot of in the OT space, and where I found the big value here is around consistency. So you go plant to plant, site to site, machine to machine, and depending on what that engineer did to that day and which engineer you had do it, you get a different experience in the actual system. So one of the great things that this automation provides is that consistency of deployment, so that every time you go to a system and start working on it, you understand where things are installed, how they're configured, because they're all done the same through this automation instead of the manual process that most people use today.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so, at Red Hat, we often talk about a platform approach, of which automation is often a component of. And I'm hoping, Ed, that maybe you can, or Dave, that maybe you can elaborate a bit more on why our customers often think about this as a bigger picture platform type strategy.
No, absolutely. Ultimately, it still comes down to consistency, right? When you have a platform, you have an established set of capabilities that other workloads are going to tie into. So to be able to manage those workloads, you're going to need to ensure that ports are open the way they're supposed to be open, that you've got the trust model established the way it's supposed to be done, that your network is segmented and built in a way that allows for east and westbound communication. So automation is a major component of that platform-based approach, but it's not the only component. Being able to curate brand new images with updated binaries, safe binaries from a secure software supply chain. These are all the things that kind of come into play when you're building out a modernized technical compute environment.
Yeah, and we talk about platform a lot here in this space, but it's really about having a system that almost really self-heals, which is kind of big. So we talked a lot about day one, deployment, getting systems set up and started. But there's a day two element here that's very big as well on making sure the system keeps running. So, if you go to an automotive plant and 3 a.m. a layer 3 Cisco switch fails, how skilled are your maintenance guys at repairing that and getting that back up and running? Having a system self-heal, plug the new one in, wire it up, and have the system configure it and set it all up without you having to get the guy out there on the golf cart wheeling up with his laptop and trying to make things work. That's huge for a platform that's able to just fix itself on a lot of areas. We're even playing with spaces like control, where you've got a controller that fails, a PLC or a DCS controller that fails. How do you repair that today? Versus what this automation can do to reload that system and get it up and running without the manual intervention of sending an engineer out there to do it. So, a self-healing platform is very big for us.
Yeah, and as we start to dive in a lot more towards this modernization effort that's taken place across the industry, you're going to start seeing a lot of these terms get intertwined. Terms like orchestration, which typically refer to container orchestration, and automation, which typically refers to industrial automation. Although this, in this regard, is IT automation. So, a lot of these terms are going to start bubbling up and get blended and intertwined together in a way that it might be confusing at first, but in reality, what it is a means of being able to work in concert together so that these workflows are fully automated, and you've got systems that will not require human intervention for operational efforts.
Yeah, and as more and more of that software, driven architecture becomes more prevalent down there. Just look at the explosion of the AI technologies today and how that's working. The fact is, updates to those starting to happen much more frequently, much more often. So between cybersecurity patches and just new features getting rolled out, the automation here. I've watched a company, one of my customers works with an AI application that they're updating that thing weekly. So this automation allows them to take care of updating all of the AI across all of their plants whenever they need to push it out and test it out as well. So there's that whole workflow that this kind of automation really improves significantly for these guys.
This has been some great context for me, and I know for our viewers as well. So thank you everyone for your time, and we will catch our viewers on the next edition of Modern Manufacturing.
Thank you, Kendall.
Thanks, Kendall.